It's Helen here from Blended Therapy. I nearly didn't make it this morning, but I am here. Nothing to worry about. I'm just working through a lot of stuff at the moment. But here I am on my mat with you for a few minutes of silent sitting. And whether it's for me or for her, I'm not quite sure, but I have a companion this morning. At least for now. She might change her mind halfway through. So, hi Kathy. I wanted to return today to the practice that I introduced yesterday and take it a little bit further. And it's all about resting. Morning Bradley, it's all about resting into your heart, finding that heart space and allowing whatever is to be. When it comes into the heart, it's a place of compassion, it's a place of non-judgment. Hi Helen. So yeah, so it's really, it's something that I'm finding helpful at the moment, and as I say, this week that's what I want to share with you. So I think it's going to be less talk today and more silent sitting. For those who weren't on at the very beginning, I will just show you that I have, whether for my sake or for hers, I don't know, but this morning I have company. So it's entirely possible she might decide to move halfway through, but that's where I am at the moment. So I invite you to find your place, settling in to however you're sitting, letting your feet connect to the ground. And there she goes. Letting your feet connect to the ground, letting your sitting bones rest down. Maybe starting to find that sense of connecting from the feet to the sitting bones, so that your lower body is connecting to the ground, growing roots, supporting you, which in turn allows the spine to release a little bit from the hips. Maybe a sense of a little space between the vertebrae. Maybe you find a deeper breath finding its way in. Let your hands just rest wherever is comfortable for you, on your thighs, your knees, in your lap. Palms up or palms down, whichever makes more sense, whichever feels right for you. And follow your breath. Turn your awareness to your breath, allowing it to come and go through your body. So for a few moments, doing nothing but sitting, allowing that sense of connecting to the ground, allowing the feeling of the ground supporting you, allowing your breath to come and go. Being with what is for you this morning. And after a few breaths, maybe your breath starts to settle into a little more of a rhythm. Or maybe you find on the contrary that you start needing a few deeper breaths. Just let it be as is, not trying to change it or breathe in any particular way. And when you're ready, let your awareness turn to what's going on in your head, in your mind. Just noticing any feelings of busyness, being aware of any thoughts that are coming or going, any feelings, any emotions, anything that is present in what we think of as in our heads. And as far as you can, allowing yourself to see that, to observe it, rather than getting caught up in it. And maybe something comes to mind, an image that represents that, whether that's a word or an image or a colour, something that may represent for you that sense of activity, of busyness in the head. And whether or not there's something representing it, whether it's just a vague sense of that activity, allow that thing, that sense, that awareness, that vision, that image, to start to gently float down from that place behind the eyes where it feels so active, letting it float down through the body. If the image works for you, as if it were floating down underwater, gently gliding, drifting, side to side movement, knowing that it's going to find its place of resting at the bottom of the ocean, safe, undisturbed. And if the water is not a comfortable, helpful image for you, then let that go and simply go with whatever works for you. But letting that feeling, that sense of busyness drift down gently past your eyes, your nose, your ears, your mouth, past your throat, maybe noticing any sensations in your throat as it passes, past your chest, again being aware if there are any sensations of any kind in your chest, until that comes down to rest in your heart center, that space at heart height that fills the whole of your body, your whole of your chest, but fills it with a spaciousness, so it's an openness, a sense of spaciousness rather than a tightness. And as you let those feelings, that awareness of busyness rest into your heart, notice how, if you allow it, it can do so with a sense of resting, of tranquility, and of acceptance. Here in the heart space, there is no judgment. There is simply compassion, acceptance, love. And if you struggle in any way to find those feelings right now, don't worry. Just trust that they are there. And breathe into the heart space, letting that sense of busyness find its own way and its own time to relaxing, to releasing. And feeling the breath come and go into the heart space. Watching the breath. Trusting that all that busyness of mind, all the thoughts, all the activity has been given permission just for now to be still, to rest into the loving embrace of the heart space. Just for a few minutes. And that anything you need to deal with will still be there when you come back to it later. But for now, be with the breath, coming in, going out. And as you watch that breath, maybe you start to be aware of the pause that comes at the top of each inhalation. A moment of complete stillness before the breath turns and moves in the other direction. And again, at the bottom of the exhalation, a pause, a moment of stillness before the next breath finds its way in. And for the next few breaths, if it feels helpful for you, allow yourself to rest in those pauses, being in your heart space, until the next breath is ready to find its way in or out. And when your mind is distracted, simply allow whatever thought it is that has taken it away to drift down like a beautiful feather on a still day, drifting back down from the head to the heart space and returning to those spaces between the breaths. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful day. And remember that you can come back into that space in the heart, that space between the breaths at any time you need to. I'll see you tomorrow.